Welcome to another episode of the AI Lab Unfiltered podcast. I am Drew Veach from BizStream, joined by Mr. Pete Terryn from New Wave.
Thank you for the introduction.
I'm going to introduce you on this one. On today's episode, we are talking about multiple things. We are talking about the community of AI. We're talking about scaling AI talent and talking about Tech Week in Grand Rapids. Stay tuned. We have a really fun guest today. This is really exciting and near and dear to our heart. And I got to plug this and it'll make complete sense. Is we are powered by Think Tank Thought Leadership. This is how we make our podcast possible. And we just can't do it without them. I can't think of any other words. But
I'll help you out, buddy. So we are, there's no way we'd be doing this on our own. If it was, it'd be Drew and I with a iPhone in a basement somewhere, and Exactly. It would not be this kind of quality. They really take care of us. And if you're looking to do a podcast, this is the place to go. Think Tank Thought Leadership. I said this earlier, free parking in the parking lot, coffee, water, editing, cameras, microphones, clean bathrooms. What else?
It's just a fun place, and they just fill in all the gaps for you. They handle everything for you. And that's, I think, the biggest takeaway is there's stuff that we didn't even think about. Because podcasts are very hard to do, to do it at this level. So we really appreciate them.
And we're not the only people that record in here.
Yeah.
What a great segue. We have the wonderful Jen Wangler from The Right Place, the the Vice President of Technology and Director of the Technology Council of West Michigan with us. Welcome, Jen.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's pretty exciting to have you. I know, and you're here all the time because you're on a ton of different podcasts. You host a ton of different podcasts that you have yourself. So it's kind of fun to have you in here because you were the one that actually united Pete and I to start the West Michigan AI Lab, and which turned into the podcast. I mean, so we're always appreciative of that.
It's been so exciting to see. Congratulations on moving it forward. Yeah. And I might say they have the best coffee in town here.
So, I think so too.
Come on in. They should start selling it out the front door.
Right?
Not to make you uncomfortable, Jen, but maybe. I've been waiting for this podcast because I feel like it's finally an opportunity for Drew and I to thank you properly for everything that you've done for us. So I just want to kind of go back a little ways. It was a couple of years ago. I met you for the first time at the New Wave office, and we were talking about AI, and that's where the conversation started.
Yeah.
And you were supportive even back then when AI was just kind of this thing that was on the news that people knew was coming. They weren't sure what it was going to do, but you knew back then, just like we did, that it was going to have a massive impact. And it was your idea to do a local meetup. You introduced me to Drew, which we can talk about that later.
Whether it was good or bad.
He's looking for another introduction to another person now.
wasn't the best thing, but and that's where the meetup started. And so we have this monthly meetup, and it's grown through your support. You've introduced so many people to us to bring in as speakers to that group that's provided a ton of value here locally. And then that led to the podcast, and you've helped plug that when you're talking to people and introducing more and more people to us. And we're not sitting here if it's not for you. And I just want to thank you sincerely for that. We really appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you for the recognition. But I mean, Pete, your excitement for AI in those early days was so infectious. And I just saw so many people reaching out and asking questions about it. And so part of what makes West Michigan special is the community.
Agreed.
And leaders coming together to kind of work through problems and solutions. So it was just the perfect opportunity. But so congratulations to both of you, because I mean, that was great. Yes, I made a few introductions, but you've really taken it and turned it into, multiple different ways to communicate and build this thing called AI in West Michigan.
We're having a blast.
Good.
Yeah.
And I do love this guy. So I'm probably more thankful for the introduction to Drew than anything.
Yeah, it was weird because it was like a month or so later. I'm talking with her in her office going, I just wish there was other people I could talk to about AI. And she's like, you need to talk to Pete.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much that happens. And I said, I feel like, I sit in this place where I get a lot of people, both in West Michigan, in the state of Michigan, and outside that, just reach out and ask the question. And I'm always like, that's the best thing that you can do because 9 times out of 10, there's somebody in your ecosystem that has that same thought. So just reach out and ask.
Exactly. Well, what a great segue into what we want to talk about too. We want to talk about how the regional area of tech growth has happened, not even just West Michigan, but just this entire region, and how that kind of interplays nationally. Tell me about. Obviously we've seen the growth in the past couple of years on a large scale, a national level, but even locally, we're tearing it up. And for people that aren't familiar of West Michigan, we have, like you said, the community has been amazing here about pushing technology and pushing a lot of those to the forefront, from everything from healthcare to even automotive to manufacturing to all different areas.
Yeah. Well, 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago, he's going to kill me if I forget this. We had a new CEO come into town at the right place, and his background was tech. He had done that successfully and built these amazing communities in other areas, Denver being one of them. And so that really started my journey in building this local tech community. So one of the first things that we did is talk about, what would it look like if we brought the business community together and everybody else and talked about building the brand of tech in this 10-year tech strategy and doubling our footprint. So to make a long story short, we did a quick survey of our business community and we asked them, we said, and this was 4 years ago, right? And we asked them, over the next 10 years, what do you see as your biggest challenge in business? And 3 things kind of rose to the surface. Machine learning. I forget what the other one was. There were 3 of them. Machine learning was one of them, and AI was another. And one might argue that AI has, in the last 4 years, bubbled to the surface.
Oh, sure.
So they were seeing it 4 or 5 years ago before we were even talking about it. So when people ask me about, kind of the local economy and how AI is impacting us, I talk in very measured ways because I think that our business community is still very manufacturing centric. And I think that they're looking at things like AI and they are implementing in a very measured way. Certainly not at the pace of the coast or the bigger hubs, but so it's been an exciting journey.
Is it measured because that's kind of who we are in West Michigan? Is it what other factors that are, I guess, keeping us from moving faster?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was thinking about that the other day too, right? When they were talking about the trillions of dollars that are going to be available for communities. And we certainly want to get our lion's share of that. But there are a lot of things that are going on right now for businesses, especially in the manufacturers. It's kind of all of the micro and macro things happening in the economy. A lot of our larger companies are slowing down their innovation arms due to many different things. And so AI is not moving as fast because of that. But also our manufacturers, especially our tier 1 and our tier 2, are impacted by that. When those larger companies slow down and reduce their innovation, so too do our manufacturers. And so because of that, they've really had to look deeply at where AI is going to help them the most, where they're going to see the most impact. And then couple that with the fact that, Security is an issue, as you know, Pete, with New Wave, right? So how do I do this new thing in a very safe environment? So all of those factors are playing into it. But we also have a very conservative community, right? And that's really where an organization like The Right Place comes in, right? So bringing those thought leaders together to talk about where they've seen successes, where they're experiencing challenges, and where there are opportunities to work together.
Do you have, you mentioned some of the bigger companies slowing down on their innovation side of things. What factors are playing? And is this like because of the economy and tariffs are a big distraction right now? Yeah. Like what's driving that slowdown for it?
Yeah, that's a huge one, right? So I had a business leader tell me the other day, one of the larger ones, I can't say who, but I had him tell me that, we just wait 10 minutes and things are going to change again. So there's a little bit of a, we just don't know when the other shoe is going to drop. And so there's this hesitancy to make big bets. And so we're doing things, but just on smaller scale. But there are a lot of things happening on both a macro and a micro level at the same time. But yes, supply chain is a huge one.
Yeah, I just see that as just a huge distraction right now with everything. It's where are you going to put your money? I mean, you need materials to continue on before you can even innovate.
Exactly.
I have a good friend who works in supply chain for a pretty large company here, headquartered here in West Michigan. And we were golfing the other day, and I remember how much he struggled through COVID. And now he's got this tariff thing. I'm like, man, I remember how difficult that was for you, like super stressful. Right. And then finally you get through that, and then this tariff thing comes, and now he's right back in it again. So I get that. It helps to know him and see like the weariness on his face of having, to deal with this now. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Personally, I think that there are multiple industries that we focus on here in West Michigan. And at The Right Place, advanced manufacturing is a really important one for us because it is still a quarter of our economy. And so, manufacturing, health, life science is going to have some critical advantages for us in West Michigan. I call it Grand Rapids 2.0 when we built Medical Mile and everything happening on that end. All of the innovation happening at the Van Andel Research Center and companies like BAMF using AI to push forward. And then we have industries like food and ag that just are these steady industries that continue to grow. So all of them are looking at things like AI and asking from an operational efficiency perspective, how can we use this tool? Because it's just another tool, right? Tool in the toolbox to move faster, to be more competitive, to get our workforce up to speed, which is another huge competing factor, right? The students coming out don't have enough of the skills that they need, and the CEOs certainly aren't as comfortable with it as they need to be. So just, thinking out a little bit farther, I think once companies start to use AI and implement it into their software, I think it'll be easier for our manufacturers and other companies to just incorporate AI into their everyday operation. I think when they have to think about building their own agent and stuff like that, I think that's way too much for them to think about.
Yeah.
Well, and I think a lot because the speed of AI and like you said, executive leadership or even just leadership in general is looking at it going, where do we jump in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, where do we jump in?
Yeah.
And you and I talked to a lot of businesses in the area about that, about kind of the one-on-one. Here's where you start.
Yeah.
Here's where you can start implementing on a micro scale to get comfortable with it. And kind of relaying, here's the security of it, here's the do's and don'ts, if you will.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of, especially manufacturers going, I don't know where to start, and having a comfortable place to ask that in.
Right.
You know, it's not going to be in a public setting. It's going to be can you come in and talk to us about this?
Yeah.
You know, we get that a lot.
I'm curious to hear from you guys too, like who within the company you're starting with. So 2 years ago, we launched an AI roadmap for manufacturers based on certain personas. So whether you're the HR representative, which is where we see AI being utilized a lot, right, in talent retention and workforce, or if it's an operational, you're leading, you know, your operation team and trying to figure out how to use, you know, predictive maintenance or those types of things operationally. So we used this roadmap based on certain personas. But even that has been a bit advanced for them to start with. So I'm curious, from your perspective, who are you starting with?
Typically, the people in the room.
That
it has
discussion.
literally been all of the above. And I wouldn't even say in separate sessions. I would say in the
Together.
same session.
Okay.
It's been, we got guys coming in that can talk to us about AI.
Yeah.
They've got, here's two people from HR. Here's the marketing director. Here's a marketing assistant. Here's the CEO. Here's the president of that division. Here's the operations. And they're all in there.
Yeah.
Which is helpful. That's how, if you're starting out, to have those people in the room all together.
Right.
And we found out, Sally over here is actually using it in HR.
Yeah.
She's already using it in this implementation. The director of marketing is using it for these four things.
Right.
So it was an eye opener for the leadership going, oh my gosh, we're already using it internally.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Now, how do you put a policy together with that?
Yeah.
How are you going to use it responsible?
Right.
And just kind of packaging that all up for them to, you're already starting with it. You just need to get your people on the same page and what to do next.
Right.
With it. But it is everybody in there.
Jumping in. Yeah. I feel like early on when I would ask that question of companies, like, where are you starting and who, most of them were like, okay, we took our top leadership and we picked 2 or 3 people that seemed to have a curiosity and were willing to jump in and test out a few things and then report back. So I feel like we're a little farther than that, but
yeah.
okay.
I think Drew and I are a bit of an anomaly and really fortunate that the owners of BizStream and New Wave are very much bought into AI.
Yeah.
So we don't have an uphill battle to fight there. We don't have to convince them that AI is the future. So
It's a service for our companies.
Yeah.
And I'll share a bit of a story that doesn't paint me in the best light, but I think it's important for people to
we can edit
to hear. No, I think that I don't care sharing this. So we just talked about how it's been a couple of years now that we've been talking about AI. I've done several speaking engagements to several companies. Drew has too. We've got the meetup. We've got the podcast. Externally, you would look at Pete and you would say he's got his shit together with AI. But earlier, in our AI journey at New Wave, I was in a meeting and we were talking about where we're going with AI, and our president looks at me and he goes, Pete, what's our AI strategy? And I was looking at him and I was like, we don't have one.
Yeah.
And that was so eye-opening. And I share that because I think that's where a lot of people are right now is, okay, cool. We're an AI company because somebody's got a ChatGPT account and they wrote a policy.
Right.
You're not.
Yeah.
You're not an AI company. That is unleashed, unsupervised, uncontrolled AI in your organization, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
Unless you sit down and you say, this is exactly where we're going to go with AI, you are not an AI company.
Right.
It was a very sobering moment, but I'm so glad it happened because it completely changed how my mind thinks about AI.
Yeah.
You really have to be intentional. You certainly have to have executive sponsorship like we've been talking. If you don't have that, then I'm sorry. You either bring in a third party that will be your AI champion for you and be a part of that leadership team, or get a different leader. I don't know, but But you really have to sit down and you have to have an actual plan. You should have, we have a client who explained what they were looking for from us. He said, when we're done with this engagement, if somebody asks me what our AI strategy is, I want to be able to pull out this 1-page thing and show them and say, this is our AI strategy. And that's like, yep, that's that light bulb. Like that's what we need. That's what our clients are going to need. And that's really to start transforming the any region. I'm partial to this region. Into an AI-centric region that needs to be pervasive. People have to have plans, and if not, then you just have a lot of really cool ideas.
Yeah,
I wouldn't sell yourself so short though, because in my experience of that same thing, you might not have an actual strategy written up and ready to go to say, "Yep, here's my 1-pager." But at the same time, you can easily go, "Oh, yeah, I need to put that on my list. Let me get that done this weekend, or let me bust off Thursday afternoon, and I'm going to write one." You can write it out.
Sure,
I'm
certainly
fully confident because it's in your culture, it's in your DNA already. I think because I always run into it at work because we deal with it so much. It's always like, oh my gosh, these agentic workflows that we're building are really cool, and it can do this, it can do this. Then you talk to somebody in a different company, and you're like, isn't this awesome what ChatGPT can do? And they're going, I don't even use it, or yeah, I use it to help me write an email, and that's it. And it's like, oh my gosh, and I'm like, oh, that's right, we're over here, and everybody's in different places, and it's trying to get those people introduced more to it, I guess.
To me, except now, since posed with that very tough question that I didn't have an answer for, is forced me to think completely different. Like I said, you mentioned AI agents, you talked about it. To me, that's like the last piece of the puzzle. Yeah, executives, leader, sponsorship. There's the HR component that you have to think about. Like people are afraid. There's a lot of polls out there where people are afraid that AI is going to replace them. So if you come in as a leader and you say, we're going to go into AI, and you don't have a plan for what to do with your people, and you don't tell them what that plan is, they're still going to be scared.
Gosh, yeah.
And they're not going to adopt it because why would I adopt this thing that's going to replace me? I have bills to pay. I have kids in school. College is coming up. Yeah. So you have the HR component and policies in place. Like, what is the right? How are we going to dictate how AI is used in our organization? Like, even to what tools you're going to use? Because if Drew's using one tool and I'm using another, am I paying for his ChatGPT
That's right.
license or Microsoft Copilot or whatever it is? Like, I could and will go on and on if you want me to, but like it's the agentic part where it's starting to do part of people's jobs, to me, is like the last piece of this whole AI strategy.
Yeah.
Or not even part of that policy or strategy too is once you get the rest of your team excited about AI, they're looking at you going, great, where do I start? What tools do we have?
Right.
Like, do we have the team account for ChatGPT? Do we have Copilot?
Right.
Yep.
That's the second part that we ran into a while back, where it was like, oh yeah, we use it all the time on this end, but now you guys are excited about it, and they're going, where do we get the tools? So just to communicate that.
Whose responsibility is it, right? Is it the community's responsibility? Is it our university's responsibility? Is it the businesses? I mean, AI is going to impact every part of your life. I, as a parent, if I'm not having my kids get on and figure stuff out using AI, is that, have I not equipped them with what they need? I have
It's a really good question.
Yeah,
that is a
right?
really good question.
Like a society question. I'm going way past my EDO talk. Now the inner therapist in me is coming out. Which I'm a therapist by trade. I don't know if you guys know that.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I went to school to be a therapist. So years of schooling for it.
Oh, don't tell me that. The next networking event we're at, I'm going to be offloading a ton of stuff.
I was just saying, you can save Drew and I some money every month through not paying our own therapist.
Right. Anyways, we digress. But I was thinking about, I've had so many women call and say, you know what, I don't want to admit that I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't know what I'm doing. And I work in this company where, there are a lot of men around me that are using this tool and I don't know anything about it. Would you just come spend a couple of hours with me and help me? And it's so much fun. We go, and you know what we start with? We start with silly things like, hey, where are you going for vacation next year? Let's start there. Let's, use the tool to come up with some fun ideas just to get them comfortable with using the tool. And then we go into, and I show them how
That's a therapy tactic too, by the way.
Right.
Speaking from the other side of that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then we go into business, right? But we start there, and that helps them build trust and confidence and all of that. So
Smart way to do it. Yeah.
anyways.
They can connect faster too personally to it. Because
Yeah.
if you say, trying to build a recipe or something, what's in your fridge right now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got this, and then put that in, and then now translate it into a business role.
Right. Do you guys remember the app Yumily? Did you ever use that? 5 years ago, I went to CES. I go every year. And I toured Whirlpool's Center of Innovation at CES. And they had this app called Yumily. And you could take a picture of what's in your refrigerator, and then it would populate like 10 recipes for you based on what you like to eat. It would send you to the grocery store with a full list, so I don't have my breakdown at Meijer's that I typically have on a weekly basis. I mean, it was just everything. So we were using it back then, right? In ways that we weren't talking about. But
Yeah.
Interesting.
As soon as you start calling it AI, though, to your point earlier, where people are seeing other people using it.
yeah, they get freaked out.
Yeah, you've been using it. You just
Yeah.
weren't calling it AI. So don't let that
Right.
don't let that freak you out. There's always going to be people that need that that nudge to get into it. And I think that's honestly how we ended up with this meetup, and why you suggested doing it is like, as a community, we need people to be talking about use cases and making it normal.
Yeah.
Removing any fear around using it. You're like, I'm going to break anything. You're not going
Right.
to. Yeah.
Right.
So speaking of, that's kind of the business side, the policy side, and people asking, I don't know how to use this. I need the skills for that. What do you see in the talent pool, I guess, at this point? Because now it comes down to talent, because I know a lot of people, our business included, we're going to look for people who understand AI right from the get-go. I mean, just as a general, to use it to your own advantage internally, let alone,
Absolutely.
don't even worry about client projects yet. We're talking just, you're proficient at it, just like it used to be, I'm proficient at Word, Microsoft Word, and
Yeah.
Excel. Now
Yeah.
it's, are you proficient at AI?
Yeah.
What are you seeing out there?
Oof, yeah, talent is a big one, right? Especially right now. So I'll talk about it from multiple different perspectives. So a tech company will look for talent in multiple different waves. They'll look for very entry-level talent, kind of mid-level, and then very skilled. So when we're talking about that entry-level talent, those students coming out of college, even if they have some, entry-level AI skills, they're just not seeing the offers, especially the developers that were in existence even a year or two ago. So that's a real thing. And so what we try to do at the Right Place is work with businesses on creating some level of apprentice or internship opportunity for those students, get them into the shops, help them build relationships, give them practical projects that they can work on while they're in college, so that they come out with more of a knowledge base of where the company is, and it's an easier transition for them. Most of the hires that we see come out of an apprentice. Stacy Paul with Array of Engineers is just amazing at this. She has on any given day 10 to 12 interns in their shop. And they love the energy that these interns bring. They love the creativity. So, I'll just throw her out there as a thought leader in this space. So we need to be more purposeful and see more of that. we also need to see tools in the toolbox to help companies offset the cost of those interns. So we need, Grand Valley's great at this, right? They provide projects through the School of Computing, School of Engineering, for students to be able to work on real life projects. And so that provides a little bit of a discount to the company and helps the company innovate. But then we also need to see, a continuation of state level funding to support and offset the cost of those interns once they're, getting towards graduation or out. So there is some funding, but we need to see more of that to encourage that. So that's on the very entry level, right? And then let's talk about kind of those that are experienced and have some level of experience. Well, because of the economy and the things that we just talked about, right, the softening of the economy, there are a lot of experienced developers that are already out there looking for work. And so the companies that are hiring are gobbling up that level talent and not the entry level. So, where there is hiring, that's where I see kind of the biggest shift. And then when you talk about the truly experienced level, I was speaking with somebody from AWS the other day, and they were saying, we're looking for AI experts, and we're redefining, what a CIO or a CTO is called. And we're putting AI into their acronym.
Yeah.
And so universities like Grand Valley and Marwan Casantini, who is the new dean of the College of Computing, is really progressive in this area about putting programs and curriculum together that allow people to come out with that acronym, because those advanced companies are going to be looking for that.
That's interesting. That because I have started seeing that it's the director of AI strategy or integration. I have started seeing that, and that's interesting to even get it down to that college level of preparing them for here's the titles, here's the skills that go along with that. That makes sense.
Well, and then don't forget about the worker that's already out there, right? I mean, so important, especially with our manufacturers. So schools like Grand Rapids Community College won an award, I think it's been a couple of years now, that they won an award from Dell to be able to retrain and reskill existing workforce.
Nice.
So they have, plant managers, HR coming into their center, and they're retraining and upskilling them into, where AI is.
That's awesome. I have a real life story of, I guess, kind of repurposing and someone into an AI role. So this is a DevOps person that works at New Wave, and I work with him pretty closely on different things. So, your typical DevOps problem solver, knows how to code, and has worked for us since I started talking about AI. So definitely knows that I'm into it. I talk about it in every meeting, every quarterly all staff meeting. I'm always
surprising.
Yeah. Ask my wife. Yeah. And
it's not great dinner topic, Pete.
It's not. I have bad stories about me talking to people about AI, but I've already been self-deprecating enough, I think, for this podcast. But he's a great guy, and I enjoy working with him. But despite all of that talk about AI, he hasn't done anything with AI until actually quite recently. And
crazy.
Yeah. And now that he started, now he can't stop. Now he's messaging me all the time. He's like, ooh, I did this and I did that. I'm like, finally.
It's addictive.
Finally.
Yes.
And some people are they're going to take their time, or they're just a little more bullheaded and set in their ways or whatever. But if they can just kind of get that little taste, and then it starts to really take off. So this idea of reskilling people
Mm-hmm.
I think is a great idea. Because if you're a problem solver, you're a problem solver no matter what tool you're using.
Sure.
And now if you're a problem solver with AI, you're like
Oh my
super powered.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's giving you that right tool in the toolbox. So the other day, someone sent something to me. It was a company in Sweden. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the name of the company was Lovable.
I was wondering if I'm like, I know a company in Sweden. It's love. We talk about Lovable.
We talk about
You
them
do?
all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Please
It's
sponsor
one of
us,
my-
Lovable. We
Yeah,
beg them every
wow,
time.
One of my
Okay.
favorite tools.
Yeah.
Do you know somebody there?
No.
This is not
no.
a plant, because we do.
I
we
honestly
talk about
thought that you
every-
knew.
Do?
Yeah.
No, our I think it was our research team. Somebody sent it to me because we have this discussion all the time around, that entry level talent and how they're not, finding jobs and stuff. And then I think about what they did, right? Were they the fastest growing startup?
They just got new funding, and it's like they have a super high valuation right now. I don't know the
Yes.
numbers, so I'm not
Okay.
going to quote it, but yeah,
Okay.
they're. I think they're considered a unicorn now, which is what is that,
Yeah.
$1 billion
Yeah,
valuation?
yeah. 1 billion, yeah. I know. That's what. So that's
Crazy.
classic example,
Yeah.
right? Of
Yeah,
Anyways,
and
that's all I have for you. That's the only cool thing I have for you.
it's a great product. We fully support it. Lovable.
Fantastic product.
I've actually thought it'd be fun to go through all of our past episodes and take all the clips that we've talked about it and just send it to them and say, just sponsor our podcast.
That's probably what we should do,
That is,
because we literally have talked about it in every episode.
Really? That's
Yeah.
funny. Okay.
That's,
we should go to Sweden.
let's shoot it there.
I like
All
that.
right.
Right.
We could set up a delegation to go to Sweden
I'm
for
with ya.
AI.
A delegation.
Bring your local EDO. I could see.
Yeah, I like this.
Go ahead.
Thought you were going to say something.
I was not.
All right.
I stumped you.
Well, I don't know if we had this on our bingo card to talk about today, but we're not that far away from Tech Week, and I think this will get released before Tech Week. So I'd love to give you some time to talk about that. Something we're very excited about. I've cleared my calendar for the whole week this time so that I can attend more events.
Yeah.
So I took
Yeah.
Drew's lead from last year. So
It's okay. Yeah. Well, let's start with the details, right? The week of September 15th. So 15th through the 20th. You will have, 70 plus events throughout the week, spattered all through Greater Grand Rapids and along the lakeshore. Last year, I want to say we had close to 17,000 attendees.
wow.
Yeah, we're still the second biggest in the Midwest. Yeah, Twin Cities still has us. So yeah,
By how
for
much?
now,
For now.
I don't know.
All
I
right.
don't know.
We're
They
ta-
still have us.
We're
but-
taking over.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of guests that now are coming in from, California and along the East Coast just to see what's happening. So I am hosting a couple of different events myself. The one I'm really excited about it on that Monday. We have one called Coffee Circle Tech Week Edition.
Nice.
So Coffee Circle, it's a cute name, right? But it is women in business doing badass things
Yeah.
together. And I know you guys, I don't know if you've been to any of them, but which men can come, by the way. Yes, you're more than welcome.
I honestly didn't know that part.
I didn't
really?
I
I know
didn't
a
either.
ton of
I didn't
women
want to
business
like
owners.
I didn't want to crash the party
No,
and like,
of course you could come.
Okay.
No, so we did one last year, and it was so popular that we're bringing it back again this year. But what's exciting is we have a young woman by the name of Sharon Gillenwater. So she started a business intelligence company in the late 80s, before it was popular, right? Worked with companies like LinkedIn and all of the biggies, and then sold it to a PE firm, 15 years after. I think it was 25 million. But shortly thereafter, wrote a book about her experience, right? One of the few women that had exits back then in tech. and has went on the circuit, just kind of telling her story. And so she's coming in. She's going to be our feature keynote.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Because I just thought, just everything that's happening here in West Michigan, especially for women in tech, she's a great example of, how things can get done. But yeah, so that's exciting. That'll be on Monday. We're closed out. We're sold out. I hate to say that. I know.
That usually doesn't stop me, but as you know, with some of the events that I go to,
you'll still see
you're not on the list. Yeah, I know.
So I'll sneak you guys in. But yeah, so there are a lot of, we have a VC Insights and Innovation Showcase that's happening this week. And this is an opportunity to get a lot of our VC friends, angel friends, PE firms, everybody in town to see the magic happening, that this is really a cool place where you can, build technology and sustain and run a team. And so we want to encourage that, what I call wealth creation, especially during that 1 week. But yeah, Are you guys hosting any events during the week?
We are.
Yes.
Okay.
Our submission will be in on time. We did need to change what we were going to do, which is delayed the application. I already had an email into, and I can't remember her name, but she was very nice and came back and said, "We'd love to have you back this year." And
Miss Jill.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
And so we'll get. I'm working on that. I'll get that in.
Thank you. It's on the record, so you now have to
I
do
now
it.
have to do it.
That's awesome.
It was actually Drew's idea for what we're going to be doing, which I love the idea. And I don't know if you want to, it's your idea if you want to talk about it, but.
Kind of. We can talk about it.
Don't be shy.
We are going to have essentially a panel of AI experts.
Nice.
And what we want to do is don't just want to have just a panel of people talking.
Yeah.
We want to have it more interactive. We want to have it where people show up, the audience shows up with questions in hand.
Love that.
Of how to solve real business use cases. We'll have a couple on hand that we've already done to show examples of what can be done.
Yeah.
But I really want to get the audience questions answered.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the focus, is the audience can then ask, how do you solve, for marketing, how do I do X, Y, and Z?
Yeah.
And then you've got a panel of experts that can really put that strategy with the tools in place right there live, essentially.
Yeah.
They're not going to build it live, but they'll walk you through what those steps are so you can take it and run with it and go, now I know how to solve this using AI.
Sure.
A lot of times we get people that, we get two camps of people. People that are going, I know nothing about AI, but I'm guessing I should be using it. And then we get the other camp going, I want to use AI. I want to use AI. And it's both of them. It's like, hold on a second. What are you trying to solve?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
It's great. You just went into the toolbox and got this hammer, but looking for a nail isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
Let's define and kind of put a strategy around what that business use case is, what those repetitive tasks, those bottlenecks are. Then we can evaluate the right AI tool for that. And it might be a screwdriver. It might be, a nailer. It could be something different. And then we can put together a solution and then roll out a strategy, a roadmap to implement it. That's kind of the steps that really need to be applied to it. And that's where I want people to kind of get a feel for that, to go, oh, it's not just, it's one thing to say you got to start somewhere and use ChatGPT. It's another thing to go, okay, now for a business, what are you trying to solve?
Right. I love the way that you talked about that. I mean, that is the process, right? The way that you should be thinking about anything in your business. If it's not broke, don't fix it. I don't know, something like that.
Well, my big thing is don't put AI in for the sake of AI.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It
Think
could be
about what the
solved
problem-
100 different ways. AI is just one of the tools. Could be
Right.
the best one for the scenario, but
Right.
define that out a little bit better.
Right, exactly. So I think everybody sees the cool AI captions and thinks, oh, I need to either put AI in my business's name in order to be cool or something like that.
Right.
But really, you're just solving problems, and there are all kinds of tools out there to help you do that. And
Exactly.
I feel like software was the same discussion, right? Like everybody had to build their own custom software for a while. And you guys are saying, whoa, slow down. There's probably something on the shelf that will fit what you need.
That you can implement 10 times faster. That's a fraction of the cost.
Yeah, right.
And once that developer that came up with that original custom, he leaves, well, now what are you going to do?
Yeah, for sure. Well, so other cool things that we have going on during Tech Week, because if I don't mention it, my team will get mad. On Tuesday, we have a student showcase, which is really cool. This is one of the first things that we did, right, is held a showcase of all the cool companies in town and invited students and parents in and just showed them how things are, happening and what technology looks like. So that'll be on Tuesday. That continues to grow. Trying to think what else is big during the week.
I could help you with a little prompt. There's
Oh my gosh.
There's kind of a big deal on Monday afternoon.
Okay, now I'm really going to be in trouble because I did not start there. Yes, the WAS is going to be in town. Yes. So the first year that we launched Tech Week was really exciting because of the keynote. So nobody would have envisioned 4 years later, bringing in somebody like Steve Wozniak.
Crazy.
Yeah, last year we had Malcolm Gladwell.
That was awesome.
Which was amazing. Now, talk about you up the game.
Yeah.
For
again.
real.
Yeah. Well, last year was Stephen, the first Malcolm. The first year we had Malcolm, right? And the last year was Stephen Dubner.
Oh,
my gosh, you're right.
Yeah,
it was. Oh my gosh, it's all
you had me
You had me convinced.
Like, wait,
Yeah.
yeah, which was great. Still great, but I mean, to get anybody after Malcolm is great. But I don't know. It speaks to we just have an amazing team at the right place too. So Andrea Ramkama, who has led this event, this massive event from the get-go, has done an amazing job at it. But so that's really exciting for little nascent Grand Rapids.
Godfather of computing.
We are becoming a force to be reckoned with, though. That's what what you guys are implementing and what you guys are trying to do and inspiring that community to grow that. We are a force to be reckoned with, I would say.
Yeah, but yet still humble. That's the thing, right?
Well, not me, but...
Some more than others.
Your experience may differ.
It is like if I were looking to start a business somewhere, I would never leave West Michigan. I love the people here. This community that you've helped develop is awesome. Like we go to so many networking events and even our own meetup, and everybody is so great and gracious and. How many people have spent, time speaking to our meetup or being on the podcast, and nobody asked for anything. They're happy to do it, and they're happy to introduce you to somebody else that would like. How can I help you? Like, thank you. It's awesome.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know if many people know this, but I started my career running a business with. Brother and I graduated from college. My parents had a manufacturing company, and we were tier 1 supplier to GM and Ford. And my brother had a finance degree, and I was sales and marketing. Shocker.
Yeah.
And so, they were ready to retire, so we took it over and did that for a number of years. And then 2008 hit, and it was like, we lost so much business. So we ended up selling it and selling off the assets. But that was my first kind of toe into the world of EDO because we worked with an EDO through that all. But I say now if I, had all the connections back then that I do today in the community, I never would have sold it. I would have turned it and flipped it and done some different things with it. But you can have the most knowledge in the world, but without that network, your network is really the keys to the kingdom for you.
It really is. I'm so late to that game. Both of you, I feel like are experts. I'm an introvert, and I've always avoided the networking thing up until starting this meetup last January, and I've only then, and I'm 50 years old, I'm just now learning the power of networking, and I'm grateful for it. I regret not starting it earlier, especially in this community and this network that we have here is just incredible. So,
absolutely.
But that's what I say. I don't want to be Silicon Valley. I don't want to be Silicon Valley, right? I want to be Grand Rapids' own best version. which there's a secret sauce to it. So I hope that as we grow, we can keep that part of it.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it.
So.
We got to end it on that. I want to end it on that. We got to
Perfect.
wrap this up anyway. Jen, it's always a pleasure having you on. You're amazing at everything you're doing right now for our community, for us, for everybody around you. Really appreciate it. Tell our viewers where they can find you.
Yeah, well, certainly LinkedIn. So, and email, winglerj@rightplace.org. Yeah, those are the two best ways.
Awesome. Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you so
appreciate you
much.
having me. Great conversation.
Awesome. If you like today's episode, hit the like and subscribe button. And if you have a comment, feel free to put that in the comments below. Thanks, everybody.